Good morning. Thank you for having me here. My name is Sally Peterson, and I'm from Martin Luther Campus, formerly known as Martin Luther Manor, and we're located between 35W and Cedar Avenue right here in East Bloomington. And we're working with the opposite end of the spectrum, and we're working with seniors. And we have a long-term care facility. Within the long-term care facility, we have short-term care or transitional care, which is designed for people living in the community that have had maybe a fall and a hip fracture, or maybe they're a stroke survivor, or they have had a head injury. So they come to us discharged from the hospital and receive nursing and therapy services in the nursing home setting, but they can stay with us up to 90 days before they return home to live in the community independently back in their home where they came from. Then we also have Meadowwoods Assisted Living, and that's a large assisted living complex right across the parking lot from our care center. And then we have 2 adult day programs where people come in from the community and they spend their daytime there so that they can prolong or prevent nursing home placement while giving their caregiver a break. So the caregiver can grocery shop or rest or work, that kind of thing. And those 2 programs are open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30. And one of the adult day programs, Campus Club, is right on our campus at Meadowwoods Assisted Living. And the other one's over at Creekside Community Center, right on 98th and Penn. And then we have another setting, and that's a small residential group home just south of Normandale Community College on West 102nd Street. And we have 5 residents who live there who are needing 24-hour direction and support, but they're not in need of skilled nursing services at this time. So in all the different settings that I described, we're in need of volunteers. And in all of these settings, we have various activities, and some of the activities consist of bingo or art projects. We have a spiritual care department in which we have Bible study, and we have chaplain's chats and church services, a church service on Sunday, and then one during the middle of the week on Wednesdays. And we also have Catholic services as well coming in. And then we have like an ice cream stand. We have happy hour, various socials. We also have a monthly birthday party for the residents, and short-term care patients are invited to that as well. But the biggest piece for all of these activities is escorting and transportation basically from their rooms where the residents live to these various areas throughout the long-term care facility. So, for example, going and picking up a resident and bringing them from their room maybe to the lounge area or to the great room for an activity. Maybe they're going to go across the parking lot over to Meadowwoods for a beauty shop appointment, that type of thing. We also use volunteers for one-on-one visits. And so when the volunteer comes, it's like a friendly visitor. It's a new face, somebody to share their story with while you're able to engage them and tell them what you're doing in school, what's happening, these days for younger folks, and kind of compare that to what they were doing maybe when they were your age. But the important thing about that is that you come without an agenda. And a lot of times the people that see them on a regular basis, like myself, in activities or volunteer services, or maybe there's a social worker or a doctor or a nurse coming in, we all have an agenda or something that we're needing to really get from the resident. And so when you come, it's more of a low-key visit and adds some fun and some variety for them. And it's also important, too, I think, to take the person out of their surroundings, be it the area that they're on, like the floor, or their room, so that they can experience a different part of the building, or get outside if the weather's nice, go to just a new location so they get a different perspective. We also have an orientation when the volunteers come in, and that's about an hour in length, and we go over some experiences that you will run into when you're working with seniors, and some of that is memory loss, where you might have a person that might ask you, when you're going down to the great room, let's say you're picking someone up for bingo, and just in the short time from maybe their room down to the great room, they ask you a couple times, where are we going? And so you'll develop skills just to reassure them that where you're taking them and who you are and that kind of thing. And then we'll also go over the use of wheelchairs because many of the people in the care center are physically challenged. And also walk by assist for people that are maybe using canes or walkers, that kind of thing. And then we also do a background check, and that takes about a week. So you'll complete an application off the website, and that is in your brochure that I passed out. And you can print that off and get that back to me, email it or scan it, or you can drop it off. And then I'll contact you, and we'll get together for an hour orientation, which is also included in part of your hours that you're required, for the class. And then at that time, too, you'll find out what's expected of us for you as a volunteer, but then also what's expected of you as a volunteer coming into the community. And so we don't have a limit as far as how many volunteers that we can take. We have a variety of scheduling, and so during the day we have activities going on all the time. So if you're on like your break, or maybe you have the day off and you can fit an hour or two in, we'll more than happy be able to assist you. Also later in the afternoon we have hours that are available, as well as the weekend. Because we have activities going on Saturdays, and then we also have church on Sundays that we're needing people to get to the church service, and the more hands that we have, the more people that can attend the service. And let's say some people might start out volunteering, let's say on a Saturday, and then find out that they have a final or you have a test coming up and you decide you're not able to come in on that Saturday. We can always switch your schedule, and you can come in on a Tuesday evening or whatever works best for you. And so at the orientation time, too, I also give you a calendar that you can look at and see the times that activities are taking place and what might interest you. And we're also open to the possibility of you bringing ideas to us to volunteer in, like if you play a musical instrument and you want to add to the music group that we have scheduled, or you want to do some piano playing, maybe in a downtime where you're going to play to one or two residents, that's fine too. We also have other partnerships in the community like Bloomington Arts Center, McPhail Center for Music. We have Northern Clay and Kairos Dance. So these other entities that come in and provide other activities besides craft projects or bingo, we're also using volunteers to assist with those activities as well. And then if there's some of you that haven't been in a setting where you've been working with seniors and maybe the comfort level's not there, we also have like filing or clerical work too that you could do to just kind of get your foot in the door and get accustomed to the feeling of what it's like to be in an assisted living site or at an adult day program or the care center where you have the seniors around you, and maybe you're going to start out a little slower, do some filing, get talking to some folks, kind of get to know one or two residents, and then maybe the next thing you know, you're going to their room and knocking on the door and asking them if you can bring them down to bingo. And so we can start slow, but it's a really good opportunity if you're thinking about careers in gerontology, working with seniors, in nursing, or also in therapy as well, or social work, because those are upcoming popular fields to be in with the baby boomers aging. There'll be a lot of opportunities, and as said previously by different folks here, volunteering is great because it is a foot in the door. It's very good likelihood and possibility that you would volunteer and then share your experiences and then get a good reference from me as your volunteer coordinator, and then also your supervisors here at Normandale to help get you into the door for employment further on. And even though you're not earning a paycheck from your volunteer experience, it's really invaluable to help make some career choices for you and kind of help point you in the right direction. And if you start out volunteering there and maybe you're doing something and you don't quite feel comfortable or you want to change, you have a lot of opportunities to be able to do that too. So we don't ever want you to feel like once you start something, you don't have the ability to be flexible and just say, you know what, this really isn't for me. And I think the beauty of the program, too, is that you don't have to just pick one spot. I mean, you can volunteer at one of the locations, and then you can pick up some other additional hours at Martin Luther Campus, too. So kind of get a few experiences. Thanks so much.